a couple seconds to come up.
Lisa's 7.
Yep,
Oh, Rashid, that's 8.
it's 8.
Wow.
We're good.
I just need Kimberly to stop that mic.
Coming out of the woodwork here.
I have, you please get past us. We're stopping.
They have been so eagerly awaiting you.
Oh, Kimberly, I left them on my
Song of the United States of America. Okay.
No, no, that's, I give it to you. You can't, no.
Okay.
So, I mean, at some point, I
Just paying attention.
This
His last name.
work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, a list of dates annually indicating that this work session, regular meeting, would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, December 11th, 2014. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public, is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation, which will be given by myself.
Oh,
The flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us take the next few moments of silence to each seek in our own way whatever source of inspiration will grant us the strength and power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. And let the council draw strength and wisdom to be always for the benefit of the people of our town and our state and our country, and indeed in this world. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll of the council.
Councilman Chase.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois.
Here.
Councilman Kramer.
Here.
Mayor Levine.
Here.
Councilman Prasad.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Regan.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We are all here. We are following along on our agenda. Agendas and associated resolutions and ordinances can be found over here by our clerk, Ms. McCarthy. If you want, feel free to get up at any time and go get them. And you can usually see the agendas and the ordinances and the resolutions, usually about the weekend before the meeting. You can look it up on our website, look at the agendas, you click on the resolutions, ordinances, and you can follow along what we're doing. Indeed, we absolutely invite you to follow along and see what we're doing. So now we come to item number 5 on the agenda, commendations and proclamations. And I will be joined by Councilman Rajiv Prasad and Deputy Mayor Brian Regan.
The red ribbon for the kids first.
Okay.
And that way.
Okay.
What's that?
All right, I think it's on now. All right. Good evening, everyone. See, much better with the speaker on, eh? All right, so we have, we're going to be doing some awards for the 2014 Red Ribbon Week poster contest. So why don't we just have all those adults and children associated with it come on up.
What's that?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, come on up. There we go. Just slide on the other side of me. There we go.
SCAP? We're talking about SCAP? Are you going to stay on SCAP? Freeholder's going to throw you off. No, do they have one on there?
All right, so we're here to give recognition and awards in honor of the 2014 Red Ribbon Week poster contest. So I've yet to say that right. This is in recognition of your ability to identify the importance of underage drinking and substance abuse prevention. Glad the prevention was at the end of there. So obviously a very important topic that's been, taught in our schools and through the programs. And we have a number of children involved from kindergarten. I see a kindergarten one. I see a all the way up through high school. Okay. So we'll have Bruce, or do you want to read the names? So we'll have the names read as the in recognition of all the winners.
Okay. I just want to take an opportunity to speak on behalf of the Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse, and I want to thank our young people of Franklin for really doing a great job through art in portraying how important underage drinking and substance abuse prevention are for the children themselves and for the community. So it's really important, since research shows that the younger a person starts drinking, the more likely they are to binge drink, experience blackouts, and put them at great risk for addiction. And also, people who start drinking at the early age of 15 are 5 times more likely to experience some type of addiction before they're age 20. And it's so important because the recent studies have proven that the brain develops well into a person's mid-20s, and alcohol has an irreversible impact, negative impact on the teenage brain in the areas where it controls decision-making and critical thinking. So while we really believe that the majority of teens and young people don't drink, and that the majority of parents do not serve alcohol to children under the age of 21, there still are statistics that are indicating that 39% of high school students have used alcohol within the past 30 days. And 23% of teens have had 5 or more drinks within a couple of hours during the past 30-day period, which really is an indication that some of our young people are binge drinking at a very early age. And even 15% of children have had their first drink before by the age of 13. So, there's some really glaring statistics. It's not the majority of teens in the community, but it's enough where the community needs to come together and really take a stand against underage drinking. Tonight here with us, we have Officer Dawn Flanders, who runs the GREAT program, Bruce Medley from the Franklin Youth Initiative program, Valerie Northey, the SAC for the elementary school, and junior high program. And I will say that the GREAT program was our primary sponsor, along with the Alliance, for the poster contest this year. So we're going to thank our young people here today. And we have our youngest award winner. We had different categories. So kindergarten and first grade is represented by Dhruv Solanki. Did I say that good? Okay, and it says, his poster says, "We have the power to stay drug-free. Be healthy, say no to drugs." Good job. Okay. And we have a certificate for you, okay? And it's signed by the Great job. All right, just stay here because we're going to get a picture when we're done. Our third grade first place winner is Haya Solanki. Are you brother and sister? Look at that. Good job. You guys both worked really hard. And your poster says, if you held something this important, wouldn't you protect it, the world? And it says a drug-free world. Lovely. I like it all. It's really beautiful. Make sure this doesn't. Bruce, can you put thanks. We'll have that for you in just 1 second. Okay, we don't have this one here. Okay, we have honorable mention going to our 7th grade participant from the GREAT program, and that is going to Shayla Summers. Shayla. Good job. Let's see, what does yours say? Her poster says, you only live once, but if you do, live it right. Living right once is enough. Get started, live a better life, just say no, walk away, be alcohol free. It will affect you in such a positive way. Very nice job. Our 4th grade participant was not here tonight, and her name is Twinkle Marcana. And the 11th grade, or the high school participants was... Pardon? Yeah, I know, but the student from the high school is not here, right? Okay. And our high school participant is not here, and that's Nick Veltra. However, our grand prize winner is our 8th grade participant, and this is Candace, is it Gelly? Candace Gelly. Congratulations. Her poster says, the best me is drug-free. Shine bright. Lovely job. It was voted on by quite a number of people and selected as our top grand prize winner this year. Can we get everybody together? You guys come on in and we'll get a picture. Hold it down so we can see your face, okay? There you go. Ready? Oh, put it down a little bit more, because I want to see your smile. Okay? All right, everybody smile. I just want to finish by saying that during the 2015, we will be launching a campaign called Parents Who Host Lose the Most. It's another way to educate the public about the social host laws in New Jersey. So we want to remind teenagers and parents that drinking alcohol under the age of 21 is illegal and can result in a fine of $500 and community service or loss of one's driver's license. It's also a disorderly persons offense for adults to provide alcohol to anyone under the age of 21, with the exception of their own children in their own homes, for an example, for religious occasions. The penalty also for adults providing alcohol to children, to their children's underage friends, is a fine of up to $1,000 and/or up to 6 months imprisonment. So it behooves everyone to be aware of these laws and be conscientious of the fact that is young people that out there that we're trying to protect and give them the opportunity to excel in life by, encouraging them to wait until they're 21 before they partake in drinking alcoholic beverages. And because it's the holidays, I just want to remind everyone that buzz driving is drunk driving, and please, everybody, enjoy a happy and healthy holiday. Thank you, all of our participants. Okay, we can have a seat now.
I just wanted to once again thank all the candidates and congratulate them on their wonderful work. As the Student Assistance Coordinator for the grades K through 8, responsible for working along with Alice Osipowicz and the rest of the Municipal Alliance to bring prevention programs to our school. And I think we do a really great job educating our students, and we're really proud of them. So thank you again.
Okay. This proclamation is for honoring Mr. Chandrakant Desai. So please come on up, and others who are going to speak, come on up. I get the family together and. Right. Right.
Brian's family make it. Yeah, they're in the back.
And Anoop. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas there are many faces of Chandrakant P. Desai, poet, engineer, professor of engineering, and director of German language studies, and whereas Chandrakant P. Desai, spanning a myriad of subjects from Indian American life, patriotic poems, America the Beautiful, and more, won national and international acclaim for his writings. He won the New Jersey Poetry Society Award. He was the first Indo-American poet invited to read a patriotic poem at the inauguration of the newly elected Congress. He received a $5,000 award from the Goethe Institute, Germany, and the German government Ministry of Foreign Affairs for translating 3 books of the works of the German poets Goethe and Rilke from German to Indian languages, Hindi and Gujarati. The preface of his 2005 Universal Hummings book of poems was written by acting Governor Richard J. Cody of New Jersey. And whereas Chandrakant P. Desai, in his career as an engineer and professor, was involved in advanced research in electrical engineering at the University in Germany, 1958 to 1960, served as professor of engineering for 20 years and dean of engineering faculty and director of German language courses for 7 years at the university in India, and as senior engineer at various nuclear power plants in the United States between 1976 and 1992. Now, therefore, I, Rajiv Prasad, and Mayor Brian D. Levine, and on behalf of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, do hereby congratulate and thank Chandrakant P. Desai for his contributions to the fields of engineering, literature, and poetry, and encourage all residents of the township to explore and enjoy his writings. Mr. Desai. Thank you. Now, since he translated the German into Hindi and Gujarati, we'd like to ask Mr. Anoop to say a few words, and then Mr. Ram Gadvi also. So please. Please.
Hi, good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to be with Mr. Desai today. I did have a chance to read the book, and there's just a couple of points that I'd like to make about the book. One is that translating poetry from another language is not an easy task. Either you can keep the rhythm of the poem or you can keep the meaning of the poem. And I think Mr. Desai has done a wonderful job in making sure that both the things are kept in the poems that he has translated. His poems, even though he has focused more on the meaning part of it, but at the same time, the poems, they don't read like a prose. They maintain the quality of a poem. And I think that's a great achievement. The other thing which he has done, which is very difficult, is to translate some of the idioms from a foreign language into another language. And I think many places he has done a wonderful job in that too. And once again, I haven't finished the book yet, but whatever I have read in last few days, it's been a great experience for me. Thank you and congratulations.
Mr. Ram Gadvi.
President of Gujarati Indian Literary Academy of Gujarati Literature.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, Honorable President of Town Council of Franklin, and other member of the Town Council. It gives me great pleasure to come to a melting town in USA. We call it the Indian community, Indian American community calls Franklin Township a melting township. Because here you elect no matter what color, what religion, what person comes. If he has an interest at heart of the town, you elect them here and get their services and honor your members of the township with this kind of ownership. Proclamation has said a lot about Professor Desai. He is writing poetry last 55 years in our language, but lately he's bringing some good works from other languages, which he knows, German, Spanish, and our languages, into English and our languages. So that requires commendation, and this kind of encouragement will help him to keep doing the translations and write new poetry. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and thank you again.
Yeah. Mr. Desai's grandson is going to read a short poem from his book.
It's a poem on national flag, and my grandson Dev Gandhi was reading, and I would request all of us to honor the flag where he's reading the national flag poem.
O national flag, we hold you firm, and love with sky like hearts. You fly with spirit tall and free, with 50 dazzling stars. You're gorgeous like the rainbow fine, made from the sun's shining rays. You're charming like red roses 7, which catter sweet fragrance always. Our nation's vibrant life you are, and throbs of millions of hearts. Your pride and power of the land of the free, and home of the strong, brave mass. For your glory in the battles we gallantly fight, stand steadily like hard rocks. Your nation's soul and people's dream, we are fearless, welcome any shocks. You fly on the peaks, lakes, rivers, and seas, and sing for the martyrs brave. In your shadow there rest, and in eternal peace, sweet somebody's darling in the grave. Thank you.
I want to thank the council and Councilman Prasad for giving great honor to these people who do good work for us, and Mr. Desai, who has deep roots in town, is always a fine citizen who contributes back to us all the time. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Honorable Mayor Brian Levine, Honorable Councilman Rajiv Prasad, and all the members of the council, and ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to me, and it's also a pleasure to accept the recognition of my work which I have done during my stay in Franklin Township for the last 20 years. I'm in the Franklin Township, and I feel that it's not the recognition of just my work in literature, but it's a kind of recognition to the entire Indo-American community residing in Franklin Township as well as in the New Jersey state. And I am honored, and humbly I accept the recognition of my work which I have done so far. And just not taking much time of yours, I will just read a couple of stanzas from one of the poems. It's a patriotic poem which I read in the Capitol Hill in 2003 at the time of the inauguration of the newly elected Congress. And I was at that time the first Indo-American poet ever invited to read the poem in the newly elected Congress. And the same poem, with a couple of stanzas I will read. It's quite a long one. I won't take much time of yours. We are the humble humans, proud patriots, great Americans, and worthy world citizens. Our soil is sacred, and waters are mineral honey. Our air is filled with princely perfumes, and clouds have golden and silver linings. Our wealthy forests are colored heaven in spring and fall. Great Rocky and Appalachian mountains are the lovely breasts of our motherland, feeding our lives since ages. Thundering Atlantic and peaceful Pacific throb in our hearts, and our great rivers, Mississippi and Missouri, Ohio and Colorado, Arkansas, Tennessee, Hudson and Potomac, flow in our blood steadily and vigorously. And I'm just jumping to other ones. Our beautiful America glitters with the shining rainbow colors, white, black, yellow, brown, red, and several others. Beauty of the rainbow is not just in heaven, it's on the earth too. Behind all these colors is the one single crystal clear color of the rays of the supreme sun, our gracious God, who dwells in all the lives, all the races and religions, and blesses with enormous grace not just one nation, not just our nation, but the entire world too. There are so many things, but the important stanza is that again and again, let us loudly proclaim with a thundering roar filling the sky that we are the humble humans, proud patriots, great Americans, and worthy world citizens, blessed by the God Almighty in whom we trust. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next proclamation is, I ask Mr. Tiwari to come on up. Mr. Tiwari is from the state of Bihar and actually pointed out that it is the 130th birth anniversary of the first president of India, and he wanted to do some recognition and celebration. So I said, let's do a proclamation and recognize the fact that it's 130 years since of his birth. So let me read the proclamation. Whereas December 3rd, 2014 marked the 130th birthday of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first President of the Republic of India from 1950 to 1962, comrade of Mahatma Gandhi in the earliest movements of independence, and recipient of the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award in 1962. And whereas Dr. Rajendra Prasad graduated from Calcutta Law School and practiced law at the Calcutta High Court and Patna High Court. And whereas in 1920, Dr. Rajendra Prasad gave up his law practice, turned to journalism, founded the Hindi weekly Day, and began a lifelong campaign to establish Hindi as the national language. Imprisoned several times by the British for non-cooperative activities, he spent 3 years in jail with the Congress Party's working committee, and whereas from 1946 to 1949, Dr. Rajendra Prasad presided over the Indian Constituent Assembly and helped shape the Constitution. And whereas Dr. Rajendra Prasad's writings, his autobiography, Atmakatha, and India Divided, published in 1946, and Mahatma Gandhi and Bihar, Some Reminiscences, published in 1969, left a recorded account of the tumultuous life of Dr. Prasad and the decades of struggles for India's independence for subsequent generations to read and appreciate. Now, therefore, I, Rajiv Prasad, and Mayor Brian D. Levine, and the Council of the Township Council of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, do hereby encourage the residents of the township to learn about and celebrate the people and history of all countries and cultures. Now, Mr. Tiwari, if you'd say a few words about Dr. Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Mayor Levine and the members of the council, my neighbors, and I see a lot of friends here, thank you so much for this proclamation. It means a lot to the Indian American community, and I'm going to tell you why it means a lot to all of us here. First, I want to thank all the young people who are here. I'm so proud to see them and so proud to feel the work they are doing. I think the best way for me to express that, that's the way. I feel the work you're doing. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure, indeed an honor, to speak to you on this auspicious occasion about Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first President of India. Some of you may be wondering, what is relevance about him at this point in time? Thousands of miles away, many decades later, in a new land. How he is relevant? Friends, he is relevant because of his relentless passion of public service in a very Puritan way. He was someone in India, one of the founding fathers of current India, who believed and lived the American governance value for the people, of the people, by the people. That was the reason he is relevant. Rajendra Babu, as he is popularly known, was a brilliant student and a relentless attorney. But moreover, he was a dedicated public servant, a passionate freedom fighter who spent many years in British jails. Few people know that he was the first one out of the big names of those days in 1917 and 18 that went locksteps with Mahatma Gandhi. He started the Satyagraha in Champaran, the first nonviolent movement which caught up and 30 years later got the freedom to India. It was his Puritanism in politics that's very relevant today. These were the good qualities of his personal life that we need to emulate. I remember a small verse from Sanskrit, which is inscripted on Parliament in India. It says, Udar charita namantum vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Ayam nijjah paroveti gananam lagu chetasam udar charita namantum vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Which simply means that anyone with good heart, for the people with good heart, this whole world is a family. That's what it simply means. Rajendra Babu was one of those with good hearts. Friends, The goodness of Lincoln transcends all borders. The goodness of Dr. Martin Luther King transcends all borders. The goodness of Dr. Rajendra Prasad transcends all borders. The goodness itself transcends all borders. Rajendra Prasad was one of the architects, and a stalwart at that, of Indian Constitution. You can imagine having 555 princely estates of a country which has all this, its existence, thousands of years, was princely, was a kingdom. To mold it into a democracy, it was not an easy task. It was a difficult one. They still have to live with British laws. They have to have thousands of gods that they have to somehow put together in the Constitution. They had many languages. There are, I don't know if you know that, but there are 15 plus Indian national languages in our Constitution, in India's Constitution. So with all that has to be amalgamated, and he was one of the architects who fashioned and chiseled and hammered that Constitution. That was a daunting task, but there was a more harder, difficult, daunting task, and that was who is going to take that Constitution and make it work? Who is going to enforce that? Who is going to build that strong foundation? And that task fell on Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its first president, because he was going to be the keeper of that Constitution. He has not only to build that foundation, but make it strong enough for generations to come. And he did that. It was his passion, it was his magnanimity, it was his gravitas, it was his sagacity, the perseverance to hold on to that Constitution that we see India today to be that strong. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the quality that transcends here after all these decades with thousands of miles away in a new land. That's why we remember him. Thank you so much again for the proclamation, Dr. Rajiv Prasad ji, and I wish you all a very good, a happy holiday season and a happy new year. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody's waiting. Have this plaque that's going to be presented to Brian G. Regan. Oh, no, wrong Brian.
You wish.
Leave. All right, so tonight, as everyone knows, back at the last election, our mayor won a seat, was elected to be a freeholder, and his term is going to start officially on January 1st, but then the swearing in is January 6th. It's complicated. You think it wouldn't be, but it is. So he's leaving us. What we do know tonight is our last night with Mayor Brian Levine as our mayor. Brian started as a council person in 1998. And what's interesting tonight, Brian, is there are people actually here who were not born in 1998. All right? As, you know, so it's been a while, 16 years. So I was thinking, 1998, he started as a councilman, then in November of 2003, was elected to, as mayor to start January 1st, 2004. That actually was the first year that I was also in that, and I ran at large. So 1998, like when you go back, it's like, wow, yeah, 16 years. So the average price of a car today is $31,252. What was the average price of a car in 1998? $17,200. Yeah. You made everything very expensive. During your term, everything got expensive. Now listen here. Look at this. Gas was $1.06 before Brian came on council. Now he's leaving, it's $2.70, and that's because it dropped $1 in the last year because they knew he was leaving. So they came down, right? So we have
Yeah, so the logic, I guess, if I go with, there were 50,903 residents in the 2000 census, so, you know, we're at, what, 65 and change. So I guess the argument Brian could say is, look at all those people that came to my township because I'm mayor. All right, so big increase. So 1998, who won the World Series? Come on, I'm smiling. Yankees. All right. Okay, harder question. Super Bowl that year. Who won the Super Bowl? Giants. Not the Giants, no. Yeah. Broncos, 31-24 over Green Bay Packers. I believe that was John Elway's first Super Bowl. All right, so that was pretty impressive in 1998. All right, now here's the real difficult question, because if someone gets this, Brian, in his last act as mayor, is going to write a resolution that you don't have to pay your taxes next year. All right? All right. What was the best pitcher? Oscar Award, best pitcher, 1998. No. Pitcher. All right, so I'll make it easier for you. The runner-up was Saving Private Ryan. That actually didn't make it any easier. That was the pitcher you would have thought in the year that would have won it. A pitcher that was Shakespeare in Love. Right? Like, you're saying, like, what? Pay your taxes. You know, if you had, so everybody has to pay their taxes. You heard the mayor, pay your taxes. So anyway, the point of all this is, you know, Brian has been here in this town serving as mayor, as councilman, and then elected as mayor. And though we can stand here and say that we haven't always agreed on items and issues, and at times have been on the different side of arguments and disagreements, what I can say is that, you know, for someone to take time out of their life to serve in the role that Brian served shows and demonstrates dedication to his town. But it's not over there. It's not over at that point, right? Besides the dedication that he has given to this township, the commitment and time to this township and to its residents, there really was his family, his wife, his children. They, at times, there was a sacrifice on their part because, actually, they should come up. Come on, Laura. Come on, Ariel, Shira. Hopefully I didn't mess any of those names up. If I did, blame Anne-Marie. Come on up. Come on. All right, so a little round of applause for the wife and the kids. So there was also a sacrifice from them in the fact, like, yes, you know, their father was off doing things at times that he may have missed moments at home. It happens all the time. As much as juggling, you just can't be there all the time because you're not. You're in town. You're at a meeting, and naturally his wife. So they were part of the commitment that Brian has made and given to this town. And that, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you agree or disagree, that's tonight, that's what we're honoring and thanking Brian for and his family. So I'm going to read the proclamation. It has a whole bunch of whereases and stuff. You know, it's like, all right. Whereas the Township of Franklin is benefited by the citizens who contribute their time, talent, and skills for the betterment of our community. And whereas Brian D. Levine has served the community of Franklin Township, Somerset County as Councilman Ward 2 from January 1, 1998 through December 31st, 2003, and as mayor from January 1st, 2004 through January 6th, 2015. And whereas Brian D. Levine is the first and to date the only directly elected mayor, see, I can't even say it, directly elected mayor in the history of Franklin Township, would previously had a mayor chosen from amongst its governing body members. And whereas in connection to his tenure on the Township Council, Mayor Levine served on various boards and committees which are merely a small indication of his dedication to this community and its residents and his desires and efforts to keep Franklin Township a home in which all can be proud. Now, therefore, we, the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, in the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, on behalf of its residents, do hereby thank and commend Mayor Brian D. Levine for his devotion and dedication to our community and its residents. We have flowers appropriately for his wife and daughter.
Gee, I appreciate very much. This proclamation was signed by the entire council, so I'm touched by that. I appreciate it from my colleagues. And Deputy Mayor Regan did a nice recap of the history and how things have changed. So, and he's right, you can't do this without your family, so I appreciate it from my wife, Lori, Ariella, and Shira, who are students in the Franklin school system and proud students there, for giving the time, and you're absolutely right. There are some times when there are meetings or other events, and I got home later than I should have, and they were always very understanding about that. So in my first election in 1997 was the year Ariella was born. And when I was elected mayor was the year Shira was born. So, Lori, now that I'm freeholder, there's no one else on the way. just checking. Okay. Okay. As I've said time and again, I love being mayor, and I'm going to miss it here. And without a wife and family, none of us could do what we do. And through my tenure here, there's been a lot of good things, a few bad, but it was always a group effort. I don't want to take it upon myself because we have an entire council and a great staff that does things, everything from where we implemented our open space programs, start our adult communities, we expanded commerce. We had one of the highest surpluses of any municipality in the state. We celebrated victories of our businesses, and we cried with the sorrow of losses from some of our residents. And but we all seem to come together as a community, and I think that's no accident. We did that collectively. We did that as a mayor and council, as a staff, as all of us. And one of my, I had a few philosophies when I was here, and I'll tell you just two of them. One was regarding our employees. My default has always been the employees are correct unless I'm proven wrong. And frankly, in all these years, I've never been, no one ever proved me wrong. But that doesn't mean things couldn't happen, but we especially our police department, and sometimes get black eyes here and around the country, and usually undeserved, so especially in town, we've held you in the good light that we do. And as part of things that we did, we've implemented Franklin Youth Initiative, the great program over the years, and again, that's one of those great things that comes from all of us. So, and the second one I'll tell you is a little political philosophy, and just be even. I'll give you a quote from a Democrat and a Republican. So the Republican is President Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, and he said that when he had a decision to make, he always said, what is the right answer? What's the right thing to do? Then everything most everything flowed very easily from that. So that's where I tried to do it. I may have not always succeeded, but I tried to take that premise. And the second is from Speaker Tip O'Neill from 1970s and 80s, who basically said, when he's voting or taking a stand on something, he had a priority system. Number one was his conscience, and then his country, and then his district, and last was his party. So I've tried to keep that in my mind also. Again, hopefully I succeeded a little bit in those endeavors over time. So again, I'm going to miss it here. I'll be with you. They'll maybe not be in one of these seats up here, but I'll be here in spirit. And I'll make a deal with everyone here. As we go forward, we'll all try and do our best. And we'll try and do that from our conscience. Because if we do that, we'll all be on the right track.
So we have the plaque that reads, "In recognition and sincere appreciation of your dedicated service to the Township of Franklin, presented to Brian D. Levine, Councilman Ward 2, January 1, 1998 to December 31st, 2003, Mayor, January 1st, 2004 to January 6, 2015, by the Township Council, Manager, staff, and residents of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, New Jersey." Maintenance guy.
Are we going into executive session first?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's it on Brian. Yeah, go ahead.
You do it while everybody's leaving.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if you want to. Okay.
Don't you have enough pictures of him? Seriously.
Okay, thanks, honey.
It was right on the Instagram account.
She's gotten older, huh? Grew up, huh? Okay, we're slightly different tact we're having. Usually our executive sessions are at the end of the meeting, but we've got a couple in here now because are we voting on these today too? We're going to vote on these conceivably tonight. Should we agree on that? And I don't suspect it's going to take that long, though I've been wrong in my suspicions before. So item 6 on the agenda is our executive session, 6A and B. Should I vote on these separately?
Yeah, the first one is a resolution authorizing the
Got a
executive
vote to
session.
go into executive session.
Second one is authorizing the contract.
So,
Oh, do this.
Yes, just go to closed session first. Now we might-
Got it. That's not okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we've got 6A, a resolution going to executive session. Thanks.
So
Consult with my attorney, Mr. Reno.
so moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, moved in second for executive session for contract negotiation, CWA, FMBA. That's presented to Township Council for adoption. That was moved and seconded. And Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council for the resolution on executive session.
Councilman Chase? Yes. Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We're going to go into executive session. And when we come out, we're going to continue with the meeting. Like I said, I don't think it's that long, but hopefully.
Seconded.
Starting. Okay, gonna, there's a motion to come out of executive session for discussion of Resolution 14-564 for contract negotiations, CWA and FMBA. That was moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. We're back into regular session. We're now at item number 6B on the agenda, which is the resolution we just discussed in executive session, our union contracts with Firefighters Mutual Benefit Association, FMBA, Local 88 tentative, and CWA? No.
No.
Okay, just FMBA. Okay, thank you. Is there motion for that resolution?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 6B, resolution 14-565, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan.
Yes?
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Thank you. We now come to item number 7 on the agenda, Mayor's Report. And my mug this meeting just is Franklin Township, because that's been a good place for me for a while. Some people have suggested that I'm really leaving because I ran out of mugs. Maybe that is the case. I'm not really sure, but anyway, for today, it's Franklin Township. That's always a great place. So it's, so I said a little bit before, usually you can see our agendas, resolutions, ordinances about the weekend before the meeting. You can see the agendas, click on the ordinances, resolutions, and see what we're going to discuss. Our meetings are generally the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. In today there's a Thursday because there's a special Board of Education referendum Tuesday, but this will be the last meeting of December and of 2014. And the next meeting will be our reorganization meeting on Tuesday, January 6th at 7 o'clock p.m.
Yes.
2015. Okay. In a moment, the public is, we're going to have time for public to speak. That's going to be the only time to speak of things of a general nature. We'll have a couple places where public can speak, but that's going to be on particular ordinances. We're, just one thing to point out, which I did before. I'm just going to try and keep this brief today. As I've mentioned before, next week, the 16th, I said the organization I've been involved with a little bit, Building One New Jersey. One of the honorees is the Chief of Staff for our newly elected Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson Coleman. His name is James G. I'll certainly be there to greet her, tell her welcome on Franklin's behalf. Anyone else can certainly do that too. If you look on Building One New Jersey website, you can find it, or just simply ask me. And, as always, if through the winter or anytime emergencies come up, you can look on our website. We'll have that there. And as always, for fun or information sometimes, my Mayor Brian Levine Facebook page, I might change the name soon, or Twitter, will always have interesting things there too. I just wish us all a happy holiday. And that concludes the Mayor's report. So now we come to item number 8, the Deputy Mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So to the residents, I do want to, as the mayor indicated, tonight's our last meeting for this year, and I wish a happy holidays to all the residents of Franklin Township, those celebrating various Christmas or Hanukkah or other religious holidays. But I was remiss during my remarks about Brian before. I forgot to mention about one of his most key characteristics or qualities. So I'm at this time going to take time. See, what the mayor always did, he had this unique ability to always allow Democrats, to talk, to say their words. And he really focused on that at those moments when Democrats weren't always on the same page. And one that comes out in mind that I look back and laughed, and now is from my first term. And Councilman Ricky Sumter was, and there was some going back and forth between the mayor and Councilman Ricky and some folks in the audience. And then finally, it went on a while. But the mayor being the mayor, he turned to, at the end of this long engagement, well, does Councilman Sumter have any other words to say? And all in unison, all the other Democrats on it said no. Like, we wanted it to stop. But Brian, seriously, he always did, actually make sure that, for the most part, all of us had all words to say, and we were heard out, whether he agreed with us or not. So again, I, just don't want to repeat the whole thing. I just wish you well. I look forward to working with you into next year as having a freeholder at the county, someone that we could count on to help us in our needs here in Franklin. So my best wishes to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate that. And once again, for my colleagues, thank you for signing the proclamation. I know you all put together the plaque. It will have a prominent space in my new office. So I sincerely appreciate that. I'll make sure all your signatures are visible when it's on the wall there, too. So that, oh, yeah, that's right. So that concludes the Deputy Mayor's report. So now we come to item number 9, public discussion. This will be the only time to speak of something of a general nature. As I said, there'll be a time a little bit later to speak on particular ordinances, but this is the only time of a general nature. So is there a motion to open the meeting for public discussion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Our policy is people come up once per meeting. You're allocated 5 minutes. And when you hear a tone go off, that means 3 minutes has elapsed. When multiple tones go off, your 5 minutes has elapsed. I'll ask you to wrap up your thoughts if you're not concluded. We're glad to hear what you have to say. When you come up to the podium, give us your name and address. Please note we are audio taped, we are videotaped, and direct all your comments to the council, please. If we can answer it, I'll direct, and we certainly will. So the meeting is open for public discussion on any item of interest, which does not have a public hearing of its own. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand when I recognize you. Come to the podium, give us your name and address, please. Mr. Lacourt.
If Mr. LaCourt's roasting is of high temperature, we might allow him an extra couple of minutes.
No, I don't want to take
Sounds
that
good.
long. Bob LaCourt, 265 South Meadowbush Road. I'm just here tonight to, Brian, wishing you the best. Thank you for all the things that you've done in the 16 years as council and mayor. Now you don't have to hear me yelling and screaming, "Where are you? You're late." So I'm wishing you the best. I hope you keep Franklin in mind constantly. You're not stepchild, but you're our first child. And all the council members, I wish you all, Bob, One Locker too, a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and wishing everybody a blessed rest of the year. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Scott Siegel, 2301 Avery Court. Mayor Levine, members of council, just want to second what Bob said. Thank you very much for your service, Mayor Levine, to the community. And you will be missed, but best of luck as a freeholder.
Thank you, sir.
Like I said, please keep Franklin in mind and do what you can for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks. Anyone else from the public would like to speak?
Mr. Mayor, upon seeing no one raising their hand or moving forward, I make a motion to close the public session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Thank you very much for the input. Ms. Bourne, no controversies you had to answer there, is there, as I recall? Okay. Okay. So now we come to item number 10, standing committees. And the first one is administration. Who's doing that one? Councilwoman Francois?
There is no administration committee report because we have not met since our last meeting.
Okay. And next is financial oversight. Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Mayor Levine. Two items to discuss. We discussed no bid contracts. So most of the contracts, especially the big money ones, we go out to bid for in order to make sure that everything is fair and we get the lowest price. There are times, though, that we go out for contracts, such as for township attorney, some of our other attorneys, et cetera, where the lowest price isn't necessarily the thing that you want most. You need to know that you can trust somebody, someone you've done work with for a period of time. So we reviewed those to make sure that we weren't getting sloppy and lazy by just hiring those people again. We looked at were we getting value for our dollar on them, and we found no discrepancies in them. There were, about 24, I would say, that we reviewed. At the next meeting, we're going to review our energy contracts. Those are certainly high-number contracts, and we'll be looking at them and possibly seeing if we can partner with the Board of Ed on them. The other thing we looked at was the police fleet analysis. We've been, for the last year or so, collecting numbers on the police cars. We have a large police force, and therefore we have a large number of cars. They are driven much more than the average person, homeowner would drive their car. They're driven hours at a time. They're also sitting idle. So we're trying to look at them, look at the costs of repairs, the mileage they're getting, et cetera, to try to come up with the right time to replace a car rather than just doing it on the clock, say after 6 years or 5 years or whatever. Unfortunately, there's not enough data yet so that we can make a conclusion from data as to when to replace them. We were going to continue to do this. We asked for a little bit more data to be presented at the next meeting. Maybe that will have enough data to change our minds, but probably not. We probably need to keep this up a little bit longer to collect the data. And that was it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Public safety?
No report since our
Councilman
last
May
report. We
Regan.
have not met. We're scheduling one for February. Spoke to our township manager today, so that will get done.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Land use, open space, parks, and recreation.
I don't think we had a
Councilman
meeting
Chase?
in the last month.
Okay.
No.
And the fifth of our standing committees, Public Works.
Be meeting tomorrow, actually, Mayor.
Councilman.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Pasnell?
Well, actually,
Well, we have a report from.
oh,
the
I'm
last
sorry.
meeting,
Okay, you
which
do. All
was
right. Go ahead, Councilman Chase.
just after
And
a
Council-
meeting in November, so it was, November 14th we met. Councilman Kramer had inquired whether the railroad tracks crossing Veronica Avenue and Clyde Road could be ripped up since they cause a bumpy ride across them. But the manager contacted Conrail, which owns the spur rail there. Conrail says this track, though it's not being used, is not abandoned. They will look at the conditions at the road crossings for repair. Route 27 water main, Hatchmont, the engineering firm designing the project, was preparing materials for a letter to Assemblyman Danielson describing the problem so that he can go beat on the Department of Transportation, and that letter has, after some delay, I don't know what the post office was doing, has reached Assemblyman Danielson. Sidewalks, the consulting engineer is reviewing the streets selected for sidewalks, deciding on which side of the street to place the sidewalk. As a result of a complaint from a resident about limited hours to purchase leaf bags from the township, the leaf bag policy, which was set by ordinance some years ago, was reviewed. Residents may buy a leaf bag from the town for 50 cents. It costs the town 32.5 cents. Or buy the bag elsewhere. Average cost 38 cents. And a township sticker for 25 cents, which costs the township 13.5 cents. Senior citizens are charged only 25 cents for a bag, so the township is losing money on those. If residents place a non-township bag in the street for pickup without a sticker, it's rejected, but we put a sticker, cost 14 cents on it. If they deliver the full bag to the convenience center or public works office, they can receive a new bag for free. Cost to the township 32.5 cents, and also this requires presence of a foreman at the convenience center on Saturdays at some overtime cost. Subsequent to the meeting, Carl Hauk reported that since July of this year, Public Works has given out over 6,000 free bags in return for full bags turned in. So that was a cost to the township of about $2,000. The overall conclusion is that the current policy is not worth the time and expense, and that at least when the current bags on hand are exhausted, we might sell them at cost, we should terminate the existing policy, direct residents to buy their bags elsewhere, and township would then pick up bags without decal or charge. So, following some people's suggestions, we're trying to make township government simpler. I might mention one other thing from the Kingston Village Advisory Committee, which has been discussion of having solar-powered compressing garbage cans for Main Street in Kingston, where there is somewhat of a garbage problem. And it was suggested that both townships, Franklin and South Brunswick, apply jointly for Clean Communities grant money. The idea being that granting agents always like it when there's cooperation between two townships. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so next we come to item number 11, council comments. Which side do we like to start? I guess Councilman, right? Not here, okay.
He ran away.
Oh. What happened? Councilman Kramer, Councilman Phil Kramer. Pardon me.
Thank you, Mr. Levine. Mayor Levine, sorry.
Oh.
On the leaf bag issue, I want to point out that was a constituent had written an email to council members and the manager, mainly complaining about having to come here during the restricted hours to get their leaf bag, whereas they could go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever at any time and get one. And it was just a great inconvenience. That led us to do the math and saw that we were, in the words of Woody Allen, losing a little bit on each one, but making it up with volume. The point being that this is a place where a constituent, I could use the word complained, but pointed out an error to us, and we changed the ordinance, or we are suspecting we will be changing the ordinance because of it. So your suggestions are warmly welcomed. Happy holidays to all. And finally, to the mayor, what most of my fellow Democrats up here remember, but many people don't, is that his first election for mayor, I supported for him, I campaigned for him, I hung many a sign late at night for him. Some of them 12 feet up on the telephone poles, hoping people wouldn't tear them down the next day. And with him, together, we fought some. They were not illegal. No, Mr. Rendon,
The attorneys.
No, they were not illegal. Not by our ordinance at the time, though you tried to change, as I recall, you tried to change it in the middle. But anyway, and that brings up the point that the mayor and I fought for freedom of speech together on that issue, and we fought for open public meetings and open government. So, Mr. Mayor, I wish you luck, and I look forward to you doing those same things as a freeholder.
Take the liberty of answering. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, we did do a lot together. I think fighting eminent domain abuse and
Yes.
such as that also. So appreciate it very much. I owe you now. Okay.
You shouldn't have said that on tape.
I owe everybody here. Okay. Councilman Ted Chase.
Okay, I don't have too many comments. I should perhaps mention that Councilman Kramer discovered a beaver lodge along the canal, and this occasioned much humorous email around the township, which I won't inflict on people.
Do not give its location.
I wanted to ask, on behalf of the chair of the Cable TV Committee, ask our council where we are on the franchise renewal negotiations.
We are waiting back. We are waiting for word back. We met with Comcast about the numbers, and we told them that their numbers weren't acceptable and sent them back. I actually, the contract is being negotiated for them by Bob Clifton, Assemblyman Clifton, who I actually saw while we were down at the league and told him that he had to get back to us, and we've been trying to set up a meeting date, which we have not gotten yet, but hopefully before the end of the year we will.
I'll just mention also something that maybe isn't strictly negotiable, but I hope you're bringing up the request from the Little League people for a Wi-Fi hotspot at the Little League field so that they can use that to put out information. Yeah. Oh, one other thing that came up at the KVAC meeting, there was concern expressed that the utility poles along Route 27 in Kingston are leaning and maybe rotting at the base, and apparently PSE&G and Verizon are going back and forth as to who has the most wires on them and therefore who's responsible for fixing them. We hope they will come to agreement before they fall down. So we don't have much from the audience to respond to tonight. I will add my congratulations to Mayor Levine on his ascension to a higher level.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
First, I have to say I'm elated that the BOE referendum passed on Tuesday. I think that was great. It spoke volumes to our residents and their understanding the need for addressing our overcrowded schools and the decaying infrastructure we have here in Franklin Township in some of our facilities and our need to upgrade safety and security. So I was so excited about that referendum passing. I just want to thank everybody and let you know how grateful I am that we saw the need to invest in our youth, who happen to be our future leaders. And now I want to say something about our mayor. We go way back, way back. Matter of fact, I was mayor the year he got elected onto the council as second ward councilman. And it's very interesting. I have watched him grow as a statesman. I have watched his children grow. I didn't even recognize his oldest daughter here tonight. I said to him, I didn't recognize her until she came up to the podium. And so I want to just congratulate him because he's made our township proud. During his tenure, I can't think of any scandal we've had in Franklin Township. And you know very well when you have politicians, you have scandals. And we haven't, not that I'm aware of, that we've had any. So I want to thank you for your leadership and let you know how much I appreciate you. And thank you for giving up your time and your talent and your commitment and your dedication to our township and making this a better place for all of us. And I'm looking forward to you representing Franklin Township as a freeholder. And again, I'm grateful for your service, and you will be missed. Thank you very much, and congratulations to you.
Thank you much. That was very kind of you. And I know we've had good experiences here together.
Yes, we have.
And victories and losses, but that's okay too.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Councilman Rajiv Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few public announcements first. There is a Safe Homes seminar with the police department happening here next Tuesday with Assemblyman Danielson.
That's correct, Tuesday.
And that's at 7 or so?
It is at 7 p.m., correct.
Right. And there have been a rash of home invasions, especially of Asian Indian homes in central Jersey. And the police chief was very proactive, and the first person he called was me to try and reach out to the community. And every public forum that I got a chance to, I spoke. Basically, cash businesses are being targeted. People take cash home, and it's a target. So please don't keep cash at home, and prevent that from happening. And number two, if you see any suspicious activity, just keep driving on rather than confront people. And call the police. So this will be a valuable service, and I urge everyone to attend. Also, Assemblyman Danielson is having a holiday party next Friday from 4 to 6:30. And tomorrow, we have our Franklin Township tree lighting at 6:30.
That's correct, 6:30 to 8:30.
To 8:30. So urge everyone to show up for that. And want to wish everybody happy holidays and safe holidays. And now to Mayor Levine, I wish you luck. And we know you will take care of Franklin at the county level. Your heart is with us, and you will be missed. And I enjoyed working with you. And I've always found you to be fair, and you did what was best for Franklin. So appreciate that and your service, and wish you all the luck in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and personally, thank you also. Appreciate it. Councilman James Vasanella.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Mr. Desai. He's not here right now, but earlier tonight was acknowledged for what is a long history of literary work and working with languages and working with engineering, and he's led a very interesting life and still has hopefully a lot more poems and writing left in him. Want to wish everybody happy holidays, enjoy, be safe, have fun, be thankful. I'm going to miss you, Brian. I think I've served, I know Kimberly served before I served with you, and I know Councilman Regan was on when we originally became mayor. I think I may have actually served the longest with you. It seems like a long time. Being in my 10th year now, you've been here the entire time. So just a couple things I was going to...
Seems like 20 years.
Yeah, it's a compliment. No, a couple of things, though, that No matter what any of us are going to say, you'll be twisted tonight, right? But seriously, a couple aspects that I think I'd like to point out that obviously it can get frustrating for any of us, and especially you being a lone Republican, when you're not feeling like you're being heard or you're on the only person or one of only a few on a particular position. But you always seem to have more respect for the integrity of the chair of mayor, the position of mayor, than you did about your own reactions or frustrations. And you definitely kept your calm. I mean, a few times I do remember you getting a little rattled, but I'll tell you, you kept your calm and again showed great respect for the seat, the title of mayor, and it's not always easy. And the other thing, I always felt comfortable when we would discuss an issue of great sensitivity, that always knew that I could trust you and vice versa if we were talking in confidence, and that's comforting to know when you are trying to discuss and solve the issues in this township. And there's been a lot of issues, mostly successes, some tragedies, of course, and although all of us, I believe, has represented this town wonderfully, obviously the mayor is the figurehead, the person people look up to and look for commentary when things are, when there's problems, when there's crises. And you always seem to handle it in a way that the public appreciated and was soothed by your leadership and your calmness. So those are traits that I respect, and I hope that the next mayor, whoever that he or she is, will hopefully also bring to the seat. And I'll have lots of fond memories, whether it's running down Hamilton Street or watching you run down Hamilton Street, helping you jump up on the parade float at the Sierra Leone 50th anniversary, or some cold mornings of the Little League, or where it was only a couple of us out there marching or whatnot. Silly as it sounds, some of the moments, such as the parades, and other times we've attended dinners for rescue squads and other things, you remember that, and they were good memories, and hopefully there'll be more memories when you're back here attending events and acknowledging community members and helping the community as you're in your new position of freeholder. So thank you, and it's been a pleasure serving with you, Brian, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate it personally, too. Thanks. Councilwoman Rosalind Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess it's the last time I'm going to say that to you, Brian. I agree with Councilwoman Francois about the school referendum. It was such an important referendum, so necessary for our children, so necessary for our township. It would have been a very backsliding situation had it been defeated. We would have found our children in a very stressful school situation where class sizes would have increased. Thank goodness they don't have to face that we saw to it that our children were provided with the types of facilities that they're going to need and for the growth of the township. So thank you to the citizenry for making that happen and for caring enough to make that happen. Before I came to the council meeting tonight, I was invited by a friend of mine who works for the United Way to stop down at the community center, the senior center. There's something that was being done by the United Way called Gifts of the Season. Well, I just thought I was going to stop in and say hello, which I basically did, but I was shocked at what I found. There were people wrapped around the building. The parking lot was full. People were coming and going. Basically, what it was, mostly Franklin Township residents, from what I'm told, that had been, that used the services of the Board of Social Services. They had given wish lists for Christmas presents to the United Way, who then distributed them to, I'm not sure who, because we didn't see them here. They fulfilled those wishes, and those families that were wrapped around the building tonight were there to pick up their bags. And when I walked in, it was just an amazing amount of people, and the room was filled with bags with numbers on them, and each one person had a number that they picked up. Well, this is the first year that they've done it here. I'm not sure whether this is the first year they've done it, but certainly we need to thank them very much for watching out for our residents, helping them, and hopefully I will set up a meeting with my friend from the United Way and our township manager to say, how can we help you next year? If they're mostly Franklin residents, we really should help and move the lines faster and help fulfill some of those wishes. So thank you, United Way, for helping our residents during a holiday season where I'm sure many were very grateful for the gifts. I also want to mention that this Sunday, the 14th, there will be a poetry reading event at the Better World Cafe. If you've not been there, that's on Route 27. It's where the Saddam Insurance Agency used to be. I think it's Skillman's Lane? It is Skillman's, okay. It's run by Elijah's Promise. These are people that, as you know, it started out as a soup kitchen in New Brunswick. They also have a school that teach people how to cook. They get them jobs. And now they have this facility. I believe the Saddams helped them in the whole process. I've seen Robin there a number of times. She's very involved with it. And it helps these homeless people or indigent people, helps them make a living and do something that they feel productive. So if you've not been to Better World Cafe, well, Sunday would be a great time to go. At 1:30, they start with a poetry reading. I also want to wish my good wishes to our mayor. Thank you for your service. It's been 5 years since I've served here with you, and it's been a pleasure. I will be coming before the freeholders in the near future. So the Franklin Day Festival is probably going to try to have a beer garden in Colonial Park, and I'm told in order to do that, one must go before the freeholders and ask permission. So hopefully we'll get a favorable reading, a favorable vote. And that completes what I have to say, except my warmest wishes to everyone for the upcoming holiday season and a happy and healthy new year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, too. Deputy Mayor Brian Regan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be really quick because of my other comments, but just following up on the comments regarding the BOE referendum passing. Yes, very critical that it did pass. It's really important for our town, our future. That night, I was here, the mayor was here, and Councilman Kramer was also present, and it was really very good to see the parents that organized to make that happen, to get that to pass. So it was a real commitment, a grassroots organization that started within the parents, and was really very powerful and a good time to be here that Tuesday night. So I want to thank those parents for their work on behalf of the children and the future leaders of our town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now for my comments. And once again, I'm going to say I appreciate it from the council, the staff, the plaque that they gave me, and the resolution and the flowers for my wife and daughters. It's very kind of you. Yeah, for the most part, we've agreed, but there's been times we've disagreed, but that's fine. I always heard a saying a long time ago, if 3 people always agree, you don't need 2 of them. So healthy debate is always very good. And as I've said, I've really loved being mayor. I loved the staff has always been very kind to me and good. And the different aspects like the weddings, I love doing that. And I especially loved all my interactions with the people in one of the most diverse, one of the largest and the most diverse towns in New Jersey. So thanks to all. And that concludes my comments. So I'll ask our township manager, Mr. Bornlocker, if he has anything.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a couple things to report on, just to echo what Councilman Prasad stated about the tree lighting ceremony. The tree lighting ceremony is tomorrow from 6:30 to 8:30. It is out here in the municipal parking lot and also at the Senior Community Center in the complex as well. And he's gone, but I just want to give kind of a little acknowledgement to Bill Bowman. Bill Bowman is runs the Franklin Reporter and Advocate. I guess it was probably about this time last year, Bill came to me and said, "How come you don't do a Christmas tree lighting?" And I said, "Well, we used to. We did one every year." I said, and then Public Service said that our connection to the unmetered service in our parking lot was inappropriate and that we needed to cease and desist as far as the electricity to the tree was concerned. So since we had no electricity, we had no lights to light, and we went and then purchased artificial trees that we tried one year to have a tree lighting ceremony inside in 2012 at the Senior Center, and that was not met with great success. And I see Councilwoman Francois shaking her head. She was there with me. Since he started the questioning, I told him that I had a meeting with public service representatives that following week and that I would raise it with them. As it turns out, we were able to work out a deal with public service for the unmetered service, and we now have electricity to our tree again. So I guess we should thank Bill Bowman for the fact that we once again have a tree lighting ceremony in the municipal complex. So that's trees. Now we'll talk about Wi-Fi. Last week, a flurry of emails circulated among council about an email from Chuck Tarano from the Franklin Township Baseball League. He is the president. Some of you may recall that in July of 2013, Mr. Tarano also sent an email to us stating the same thing. When that happened, it was included in one of the things as a discussion item with Comcast to see if there was a possibility of expanding their public Wi-Fi system to areas around our parks. It is not part of our contract negotiation with Comcast for cable, as internet is not part of the cable franchise. However, we are working with Comcast representatives to get Wi-Fi hotspots at various locations around all of our township parks, and we hope that that will happen at least in part in the upcoming year. There are some physical obstacles. Ironically, the park that probably gets the most attendance right now, Middlebush Park, is in such a location that Wi-Fi on DeMott Lane would be very ineffective. So we're looking to work with Comcast and the police tower in the municipal complex. There will also be a Wi-Fi connection to the park once it's complete from this complex for security camera in the park, so we may be able to piggyback on that as well. But all of those things are currently being worked on with Comcast. There has been some question as to expense. This is a service that Comcast provides nationwide. These are the hotspots that you hear about that we're trying to get them to put in close proximity to our parks. So that is kind of it in a nutshell. I know that there were a lot of what you don't realize is that when you break yourselves down into smaller groups to avoid sunshine, that you're not, but you're all talking about it at the same time, and it was kind of funny to see how you all did what you were supposed to do and stay within the law, but you were all having a lot of conversation about this. So obviously it's important, and we've looked upon it as something important as we've moved forward with Comcast and tried to make them aware of the fact that it's important to us. So that is that. And the only other thing I would like to say is on behalf of the staff, Mayor, we all congratulate you on moving up to freeholder in Somerville. We thank you for your support over the years. You certainly have been very supportive of staff. I can say that I've been here since, well, before you were a councilman, so I've certainly been with you for your entire political career here in Franklin, and I thank you for it. The township staff thanks you for it. I know that the residents do as well, and I congratulate you and wish you well in your future endeavors. And I would just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and all of those other happy things. And I guess we'll see everyone on January 6th. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And personally, thank you. That's very kind of you. So now we come to, pardon me, item number 13, council discussion items, which we do not have any today. So we come to item number 14, the minutes. The minutes of the Township Council Work Session regular meeting of November 25th, 2014, held at 7 o'clock p.m., are presented to the Township Council. Is there motion for these aforesaid minutes to be approved as submitted?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved. Seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on approval of the minutes.
Yes.
Councilman Chase. Councilwoman Francois.
Abstain.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Regan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We next have item number 15, the warrants. The warrants are the bills that we pay. Warrants in the amount of $2,499,732.84 on December 11th, 2014 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Is there a motion to pay the warrants as read?
So moved.
Seconded.
Second. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on payment of the warrants.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Motion is carried. We next come to our public hearing and ordinance adoption on second reading. Ordinances are usually voted on twice. First time they are introduced, and then usually the next meeting they're voted on a second time. If they pass the second time, they go into law. At that second vote, before then, there's a public hearing where people can come and say anything they like about that particular ordinance. So we have 4 ordinance hearings for today. The first is 16A on the agenda, ordinance number 4090-14, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 13, Boards, Commissions, and Committees. Article 1, Advisory Board of Health, Section 13-1, members appointed, and Section 13-2, duties, add 2 alternate members. This basically adds 2 alternate members to our Advisory Board of Health. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order. Is there a motion to open the meeting for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand. When I recognize you, come to the podium.
Mr. Mayor, upon seeing no one raising their hand and moving forward, because there's no one in the audience from the public. So, make a motion to close.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So all in favor? Against? Abstain? Okay, motion is carried. Thank you very much. Public hearing is closed for this ordinance. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved. Seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 16A, ordinance 4090-14, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We next have item 16B on the agenda, ordinance 4091-14, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 236 Municipal Services, Schedule A, Summerfield. This is in Summerfield. That's a new development in the Canal Walk area, adding streetlights for the township to take over. That's what we're doing there. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public discussion on this particular ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one present raising their hand, I move the public discussion be closed.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Public discussion is closed for this ordinance. Thank you. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 16B, ordinance 4091-14, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. The next is item 16C on the agenda, ordinance 4092-14, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin in the County of Somerset and State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 167 Noise, Section 167-6, Restricted Uses and Activities, subsection B5. What this does is prohibit the use of generators from 6 p.m. till 9 a.m., except if there's an emergency. But if there's no emergency, it'd be prohibited during those hours. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication. Public hearing is in order. Is there a motion to open the meeting for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public hearing on this particular ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand.
Seeing no one come forward, Mayor, motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Seconded.
Hearing.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Public discussion is closed for this ordinance. Thank you. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 16C, ordinance 4092-14, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Next, we have the fourth and final of our public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading for today. It's item 16D on the agenda, ordinance 4093-14. An ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing acceptance of public easement, Canal Walk Associates, LLC, and Canal Plaza, LLC, docket number PLN 1400011. This is Block 513.01, Lot 15.01, and Block 513.47, Lot 1. This is in Canal Walk, a standard, basically standard public access easement. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order. Is the motion for public hearing on this particular ordinance?
So moved. Seconded.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public hearing on this particular ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand.
Seeing no one come forward, Mayor, I motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Public discussion is closed for this ordinance. Thank you. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please pull the council on item 16D, ordinance 4093-14, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Motion is carried. We now come to item number 17, ordinances on introduction and first reading. We do not have any for this evening. That brings us to item number 18, which is our consent agenda. Items 18 through AD are presented to the Township Council for adoption. The consent agenda are items of a generally routine nature, and they can be voted on at one time. It's any council person's prerogative to take any item off for a separate vote or to discuss any items. And I'm going to take item O off for a separate vote, and I'll explain that in a moment. So is there any discussion on the others or a motion for the remainder of the consent agenda?
Motion for the remainder of the consent agenda.
Second.
Just one point.
Yeah, Councilman Kramer?
Just like to point out, AC, for a very large purchase of rock salt. Last year, we ran out. Now, we will not.
All right.
I sure hope that you just didn't do it there, Councilman, but as of right now, we should have adequate supply, yes.
I'll be
Okay.
paying, I'll be writing a check if we.
As,
don't have
as long as it is well protected, and I know we're looking into having a new salt structure.
We are, and it is actually, since you are on Public Works and so is several others here that will be in a meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, we can discuss some potential changes that will allow us to create a larger facility than we originally talked about in conjunction with Somerset County.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay. Ms. McCarthy, could you please poll the council on the consent agenda items A through AD, with the exception of item O, please?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Okay, and item O, that's our shared service agreement
No.
for health inspections with Somerset County. Just so it doesn't appear as if there's going to be conflict, I'm just going to abstain on that. That's why with Somerset County, I pulled it off for a separate vote. So is there a motion for item O, Resolution 14-580, authorize 2015 to 2017 shared services agreement, health services with Somerset County?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item O, 18O, Resolution 14-580, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Abstain.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Regan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Next, we have item 19, resolutions voted on separately, which we do not have any this evening. Item number 20, old business, which could be none listed, any old business, or if there's any nominations for any committees, commissions, you can do that at this point. If not, we come to item number 21, where we've said it before, collectively wishing everyone happy holidays, happy new year. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Be
The
well.
last time
Happy New Year.
Brian, Mayor Levine bangs the Galvin.